Hello and welcome back to Elliotts Pages. This is episode 3 of my entrepreneurial series. Today I am here with Shelbie Moser. She is a mindset coach and a salon owner. She is actually the hairstylist that did my Marie Antoinette shoot. So I'm going to put that over here because definitely by far one of my favorite hairstyles that I've ever had done for me. She's amazing and we're going to go in and talk about her today. I'm going to hand it over to her so she can introduce herself and a little bit more about her.
Yeah, thanks for having me here. I'm so excited and I'm obsessed with that shoot too. It was so fun to create that hairstyle. But
So fun.
yeah, that shoot was just like the dreamiest shoot ever. But anyway, so yeah, I'm Shelbie Moser. I own Lighting Hair Lounge and Lifestyle Company. So I am a hairstylist by trade and I have been in the industry for about 10 years now. I can't believe I'm old enough to be like, yeah, I've been in my industry for a decade. And then through my journey of opening my salon, I hired a business coach. And that's when I fell in love with coaching. It was so much more than just a business coach. Yeah, they helped me open the salon. They helped me expand and hire and like all of the things. But when I opened the salon, I was not in the best place mentally. And then just owning a business is an absolute roller coaster. And so you feel all of the emotions. And so there was definitely a lot of life coaching in there as well. And they really, really helped me grow. And my very first business coach told me that I can literally design the life that I want to live. And it was that sentence that changed the entire rest of my life because life was really just taking me by. And I was more so in that like survival mindset, that survival of like, this is my life. I'm living it. I wake up and I do, like what life is throwing at me. And in that moment, I was like, wow, I have the power to choose what I want my life to look like. And from that moment forward, I really just fell in love with coaching. And through some of my own mental health things that I've gone through, and then physical health issues that I've gone through, that's whenever lifestyle became so, so important to me. And then I went through multiple certifications. So now I'm a certified lifestyle and mindset coach. And what sets me apart of other coaching certifications is I work with the unconscious mind. So it's really cool. Our unconscious mind remembers every single thing that we've ever heard or seen, experienced, and it will block things out to protect us. Wow. And so those limiting beliefs or self-doubt, childhood trauma that you experience in your adult life, like any time in life, that's all still in our unconscious mind. So you might think that you are healed from this or you're over it, when in reality, if you feel like you're on a hamster wheel and you're just like, I am aware that I'm on this hamster wheel, I don't know like how to get off, but I'm trying. Or you're at this level and you're like trying to get to the next level of yourself, and there's just like you've hit this roof and you can't explain it or describe it. Typically that's something in your unconscious mind, and it is trying to protect you. However, it can limit us. So how I'm certified in coaching is getting to work with that unconscious mind and really harmonize it with your conscious, and like you can just move mountains when those two are harmonized together.
That is so crazy.
It is so crazy. It's so cool.
It's so cool. I see so many things that you post, and I always, like I myself, and we've talked about this before, I try so hard to create the life that I want to live. And I have done that from a really young age. I started a YouTube channel when I was 12 years old. And of course I was 12 and I let people's opinions get in front of me, and I stopped recording. I stopped doing YouTube. I stopped doing content creation, but I knew then that it was something that I wanted to do, that content creation was something that lit the fire for me, that it was something that got me out of survival mode when things weren't working out for me, when I didn't have friends, when I was growing up. That's what I went to, is I went to my camera and I would go and like record. So is there something when you are teaching? I don't know. I just feel like I know that you run.
Mhm.
Is that something that's like do you tell your clients, I guess is what I'm saying, like you need to find something that lights that fire for them? Is that like a big thing that you talk about? Or when dealing with the unconscious mind, does it go a little bit away from like our daily habits? I don't know, just kind of intrigued.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. So really, when I'm working with the unconscious mind, it happens within the coaching session. And then really like our brain is a muscle. I feel like a lot of people don't, they're just like unaware that it's actually a muscle. And so like training our brain to think differently is like I guess you could call it an activity that
Mhm.
I would give a client in between our sessions. So like every single day write down what you want in the present form. So you might be miserable right now. However, if you want to be happy, then I need you to write down every single day, I am happy.
Mm.
And our brain, again, it's a muscle, just like lifting weights. The more you lift weights, the more your body's going to be able to lift, or the easier that that's going to get. So, same with our mind. When we are telling our mind what it needs, our brain needs direct commands. So, when we are giving it a direct command, it is automatically going to start working to what we want. So, if you want to be happy, if you want to have $5 million, then you need to write like, I am happy. I have $5 million. I am a money magnet. Whatever the
Yeah.
beliefs are that you want. Then that would be more so like an activity that I would give someone from visit to visit.
Okay, that's super cool. So it is like activities that they live out their daily life, but it's more things that they're telling themselves. So it's not like a physical activity as much as it is working the brain.
Yeah, for the mindset part, it would be a lot more working the brain. But as like
Cool.
the lifestyle as a whole,
Hmm.
we really go into everything in your lifestyle. Each session is customized to you and what you're needing. So, um, nutrition wise, if someone has like very detailed nutrition goals, then I refer them to my other lifestyle coach that we have at Lightning Hair Lounge and Lifestyle Company. Her name is Steph, and that is her specialty, is like nutrition, because she knows the science behind all the food and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, for me, it's more like around the mindset work.
Okay. So when this might be like completely unrelated, but when you had your business coach, when you were starting your salon, did they go into any of that with you, like mindset and like your habits, or did you learn that separately from them? And kind of what did that look like for you? Like what habits did you change? Did you change your nutrition? Like when did you start realizing like, oh, A, I'm either really good at this or B, I'm really bad at this, but I want to help other people learn how like we can do this together.
Yeah, so my business coach was mostly business. And of course, like whenever I was having my meltdown, they would walk me through that and be like, yo, it's okay. And but it was more so business, giving me tools that I needed to track my numbers and like how to expand. The lifestyle and mindset really came in when I was struggling, and like my business was thriving. However, I was like, you could say surviving versus,
Yeah.
and um yeah, one day it was just so random. I woke up extremely sick, like flu-like symptoms, stuff like that. I had like, my head was just so heavy, like a head cold, but my body felt like I had the flu. And I battled that for about 6 months. Like it was on repeat that I would be in bed sick. I would have to cancel clients. I never cancel clients behind the chair. Like I show up no matter how I feel. But that's how terrible that I felt. And I would be in bed for like anywhere from 3 to 5 days. And then it was like I just had a cold, and it was a 2 week mark. 2 weeks. I would be in bed again, extremely sick, just like at the start. And that went on for almost 6 months. And I went to so many doctors, specialists. I had x-rays done, CT scans done. And all they would do was put me on all this medication. I was
Yeah.
on like 5 steroids, 6 antibiotics within this 6 month time frame. And nothing was helping. And they found nothing wrong with me. like I would just cry because I was like, am I dying? Like it
Yeah.
really, like when you're that sick and no one is finding answers, I was like, by the time they find something, like, is it going to be too late? Like, what is going on? And so that was in 2021 that, was that in 2020? I don't know. No, it would have been 2021. And then, yeah, so the end of that year, I had COVID and I was like, I thought I was actually going to die. For a part of that, I was like extremely sick. And that was like after I was sick all of the time. And so it was that moment. I was like, I cannot live like this coming year because I literally got COVID like Christmas morning. I woke up. So the first couple weeks of the year, I was pretty sick. And so I was like, I am done with the traditional medicine, doctors, all they ever found wrong with me, they told me, they said, you do have some sort of like virus in your body. However, we don't know what it is. And they just literally gave me another steroid.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it was like from that moment, I was like, I am absolutely done. And I am going to a naturopath, a functional medicine doctor. I am taking like all of the natural stuff. And yeah, I really did. I believe like not me, just me. My sister had a huge help in this, and then Steph, our lifestyle coach, also had help in this. But we healed me completely, and I've never felt better. And that came from really getting down to the nitty gritty of my lifestyle and working with chemicals in the salon. I really watched. I would wear gloves while I was working with chemicals. Sometimes my functional medicine doctor's like, try wearing a mask, like when the chemicals are like right in front of you. So if you're putting a color retouch or, foils in, stuff like that. And then that wasn't helping. And so my sister's like, I really believe that it is something that you're eating is doing this to you. So that's when I wrote down every single thing that I consumed for months. And then finally I found a common denominator, and it was actually peppers. And so, yeah, I was eating these buffalo French fries. I was obsessed with buffalo sauce. Like everything I ate was hot and I loved it. And so as I was eating them, my throat was swelling a little bit. My back started aching. My nose was getting stuffy. Almost like, how when you can feel a cold coming on, like randomly, you're just like, oh my God, I'm getting like a cold. That's kind of what it was, but more like the backache, my body aches. And
oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I was actually doing my sister's hair as her hair was processing, and I was eating these buffalo French fries. And I was like, I think I found the common denominator. And I was like, buffalo or like hot sauce. And so she like Googles the ingredients, and there's like a ton of peppers in there. And then she goes down the pepper rabbit hole, and she's like, well, peppers are a nightshade. Those can be inflammatory. And then long story short, I had every single symptom of a nightshade allergy. And nightshades, for whoever doesn't know what that is, that's a group of vegetables. That is potatoes, tomatoes, peppers, eggplant, goji berries, and there's like a couple other ones. And so that moment I tried my very hardest to cut out all of those. And I have not been sick since.
That is so crazy. I cannot believe like the power of food, and I don't think people notice it as much, like especially in the older generation, because it's something that I talk with my family a lot about. But what used to be in food is different than what is in our food now, and there's a lot of farmers and of course FDA, Food Administration, that they don't care as much what's put in our food as long as it makes them a dollar sign. Of course, if it's easier to produce in bulk, if it's easier to get out to all of these grocery stores and whatever, like that's why it's becoming so bad for us to eat. And I have had like similar stories as to you where I had rashes like all over my skin, and they thought I had like some sort of skin cancer. Then they thought that I had ringworm, and then they thought that which like you don't just have ringworm for years. So I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what do you literally mean?
That's so true. Yeah.
I know. And then they told me, eczema, and I'm like, no, it's not eczema, because I get like sick. I was getting sick. And so then somebody was just like, well, it's an autoimmune disease. You have psoriasis. And I was like, okay, like that's cool. I still don't think that that's what I have, but I myself healed it myself. So I don't have it anymore. It shows up on my wrist occasionally if I am getting sick, but I used to get sick the same, like every 2 weeks. Wouldn't go to school, wouldn't go to work, didn't feel good, wouldn't eat because I couldn't eat, and just like all of the above. And food is so crazy, like what it can do when you really change just like your whole mindset on food. Like, I have to eat this, or this is what I've ate my whole life. This is what I'm going to continue to eat. Like, if you step out of that and get into like what can heal me, like what is going to be good for me, it's so beneficial because I've seen it even just in my energy levels when I eat more whole foods. When I, what I did to heal my psoriasis was celery juice every morning.
Yeah.
And that healed my acne. It's an anti-inflammatory vegetable, and like it healed my acne, it healed my rashes, it healed so much at bloating, like all of the above. So I think that's so cool and it's so relevant, and it's not by any means like, I don't know if this is what some people think is just what's the word? Like a hocus pocus type of thing. Like it's
Yeah.
not, yeah, but no, it's real. It's real life, especially today when like I said, the FDA they're not administrating our food the way the way that they should. So
Yeah.
that's super cool. So you went over one of your hardships, which was just getting better, making sure that you felt good enough to even run a business and be all the way there, be present, and that had to deal with your food. Was there anything else to you? Because I know the reason for this is Shelbie obviously has like a very successful business, and I've seen her she works her butt off in every realm that she works in. And I just want to know, for the people that may be listening who are like, well, I can't do that. Like I can't heal myself, or I have this going on and this going on and this going on. So I could never be as successful as her, or it's not going to be that way for me. Like, what would you say to somebody that still is kind of feeling that way?
I would say that's your choice. We have a choice, and you can stay suffering, or you can choose, and that might be easy, but
Yeah.
suffering is hard, and choosing something different is hard. I love, there's like this one post that always goes around. They're like, this is hard, choose your hard.
Yeah.
And so I would also ask, and this is more like that mindset work, are you benefiting anything from staying where you are? Because that's something that our mind will do to us and kind of like trick us, is it's searching for a way to like stay here because there is something that's happening at this level that you are benefiting from. So maybe it is like, oh, I can't because I'm too busy, blah, blah, blah. But whenever you're too busy, then maybe you get more help. Or maybe that's an excuse to not do something that you're wanting to do. And so you're like, that's called a secondary gain. So you are gaining something from, this limiting belief. But anytime that you're saying like, oh, I can't do that because, that is a limiting belief that you are choosing to believe. And you have to choose that like you can do something else.
Yeah, I totally 1,000% agree. I've even seen it in myself when I was first starting to be in my own like business endeavor and be an entrepreneur. I kept saying, I can't, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough time. It's not going to happen for me like that. I don't have enough followers. I don't have enough authority. Nobody's going to listen to me. I'm only 22. Like there was, like all of these things went into my brain. But then same thing, kind of like you, I woke up, I was tired of being sick. I was tired of being unmotivated. I was tired of not feeling good. I was tired of not doing the things that I knew Elliott could do. And it entirely is a choice, because I woke up and I decided to work the 12-hour days. I decided to wake up and go to work as a server, but at night I was entrepreneur Elliott. And like I didn't have a social period during that. I didn't go out and drink. I wasn't hanging out with friends and traveling. I think that's one thing. A lot of people see me travel a lot, and I think they think like, oh, well, it couldn't happen for me like that. I couldn't travel like that. Like, no, like I made a conscious decision to save my money towards the things that I wanted to travel to. And I made a conscious decision to be an entrepreneur and to go down the route that enabled me to travel and to live the life that I'm living right now. It was never easy. It was never, ever, ever easy. It was
Yep.
extremely hard. So that's something that I like to hear other people's perspectives on, because it can come off differently from me, who's not a mindset coach, because it's
Yeah.
going to be like, well, then don't. I don't care. I'm not going
Yeah.
to teach you how to do it. But for you, that's something that you sometimes have to teach your clients, isn't it?
Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
your life is made up of your priorities. So I love that you said you chose to spend your money traveling. You chose to spend your evenings as an entrepreneur. You chose, like, you have to choose really what you want. And then you have to make your daily habits and routines and discipline to get you to where you want to go. A lot of people will say, "Oh, I don't have money," but then they're out every weekend drinking. And it's
Yeah.
like, I don't have money for alcohol because I want to spend it traveling. I want to spend it on, organic fruits to make
Yeah.
the, homemade juices, like all of that. Like our life is just made up of our priorities and our choices.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what it comes down to it.
Yeah, I think so too. So when, as a salon owner and as a mindset coach, where is your balance? Like, what do you do to keep you motivated, to keep you going, and to keep working on both of those spectrums, since they are both very different, but both very, very successful?
Yeah. So my motivation, I would say, comes from just knowing my why all the time. Like my
Yeah.
why is in the forefront of every single thing that I do. So on the days that are just harder to get out of bed, I remember my why. And I will also say I am very naturally motivated. Um, when people struggle with like not being motivated, that is something that's hard for me to understand, because I'm just like, don't you want what you're working towards? But
Yeah.
we're all made differently. So
Hmm.
I will say that. And I've always had to work for what I wanted. My parents they are amazing. They always supported me. They always provided everything I needed and, a little bit more. However, if I wanted something like name brand, or if I wanted something that was just so unnecessary, I worked and I saved for it and I purchased it.
Same.
And so I think that really taught me, if you really want something in life, go after it. Go and get it. Like you can, but you're going to do it. And so
Hmm.
I've really taken that. I've worked since I was 13 years old. And that's something that I tell my parents. I'm like, I am so thankful that you had me working, because like that, it really, I feel like, set up the trajectory of my life. And then, so I would say that's for the motivation part. And then, just how to keep me balanced and like, yeah, I guess like healthy through
Yeah.
doing all the different things. I don't really believe in balance. I think everyone is like looking for this perfect balance, but what really even is balance? Like it
Yeah.
looks so different for everyone. And so I feel whenever you are taking the maximum care of yourself that you possibly can, you're going to have energy to do all the things that you want to do and that you get to do. And even the
Hmm.
things that you might dread doing, then you're going to be in a better mindset to just get those done. So, those are some things. We have a free lifestyle tool. It's called your Daily Bolts of Brightness, and it's
Awesome.
designed for you to take back your happiness and take back your joy in your life. And so, I don't know if we can like paste that in the
Yeah.
comments or something, but I would love to give that to anyone who listens. And that is something that I have it on my refrigerator, and it is designed to help you do hopefully 10 things to yourself every single day.
That's
And
so
if you
cool.
don't get 10 done, that's fine, but maybe you got 4 things done. Whereas normally, if we're not intentional about it, we might do nothing for ourselves in a day. So the goal
Hmm.
of this is really just to be intentional about how you're spending your days, and are you doing the things that you love and that fill you up every single day.
I
That is
love that.
something that we should do every day and not just on the weekend. Like we're living life every day and we can't control what is thrown at us. So we need to be creating resilience in our life so we can handle anything that's thrown at us.
Yeah, I 100%, I agree with that so much. It's so crazy because you're so well spoken at explaining it, which I think like that's kind of the struggle. What some people may have is they don't have somebody that's well spoken when explaining things like that. It can be really, what's the word? Controversial when you're speaking to somebody maybe that doesn't like me. Honestly, I think sometimes I hold myself back from like speaking on certain topics because I'm like, I am naturally motivated. So for me, it's kind of like, well, duh, like get it together. I don't know. Like it's none of my business, I guess. But like for you, that's something that you have to be, obviously good at. And I think that can help people. So obviously for everybody listening, if you feel like you don't know how to do that by yourself, or if you feel like you do need somebody like Shelbie to speak to you, she's here. All of her things are going to be linked in the bio. And her freebie is also good. Can that be linked?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I'll link that in the podcast caption as well on Spotify and YouTube. So you guys can click on that, make sure that you have access to it. But I did want to touch on like when you say like this is a decision, everything in life is a decision. What you choose to do is a decision. I wanted to speak on sometimes that can be rest. For me, I know that it's super important for me to choose rest. And it's something that I have to be intentional about because if I'm not choosing rest, that's something that I will completely disregard and not let myself do, especially as somebody who suffers with insomnia. If I'm not sleeping, I still wake up at 7 a.m. and I still go to the gym and do all of the things I need to do. And then by Wednesday, I'm like, well, why am I not motivated? So why am I not doing this? And why can't I get my shit together essentially? And like, why am I not being the same? But it's like choosing rest is something that you also have to be intentional with choosing, which I think is something that a lot of people forget. Is that something that you ever have to touch on with yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Resting is honestly so hard for me because I want to go, go, go. And for the longest time, I felt that if I wasn't doing something, then I was being lazy and I was wasting my time. And
Yep.
those are both limiting beliefs that I've really had to work through. And I also went through, I think it was like last spring, I had like a literal mental breakdown and I was like mentally ill and it became physical ill in bed and it was from overworking. I worked every single day, like insane hours for way too long. And I probably wasn't eating, like I wasn't prioritizing my normal care for myself, which to me is my nutrition, my lifestyle habits, my resting, water intake, all of that. And from that day forward, I give myself one day every single week. And that is my day. I call it my Sunday soul day because I do it on Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a day that I don't commit to anything. It is my day and I get to do whatever I want. And like in being intentional on that day. Sometimes do I want to, like binge a TV show? Yeah, but is that truly restful? Like really making sure that when you are resting, learn your body and your mind and figure out what is the most restful for you that you feel recharged whenever you're done.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would even like when I was overcoming burnout and I was like overcoming that mental breakdown part, I even had a list of things that I enjoyed doing. So I didn't even have to think about, oh, okay, I have a free day. I was still in such overwhelm. So even thinking of something to do that I enjoyed, like you would think that's just easy all the time. But as I was overcoming burnout and this breakdown, I couldn't even like doing that was too much for me. So I wrote a list. Like these are the hobbies that you at least used to enjoy. Try them out, and if they still fill you up, then like do those. If not, cross them off and be okay that your hobbies changed.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, resting. I go to bed. I try to be in bed by 10, sleeping by like 10:30, 11. And yeah, I like to wake up at like 6 a.m. I really need like 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night.
Yeah, I'm the same way. That's why I sometimes like it can be what you said in the beginning when it's different for every person. It can be so different for every person to find what's restful for you and to find like your most motivated times, your most like if you like to work in the morning or if you like to work at night, your day doesn't have to look like everybody else's. And I think that's super important because a lot of people will see, you in social media waking up at 6 a.m. and doing your whole entire day and feel unmotivated seeing that. Where another person could see me, an insomniac, working throughout the whole night and be motivated to get up and for some reason at 10 o'clock and start working. And I think it's so crazy. It's like, why does it happen?
Yeah, totally. And like you said, just it's going to look different for every single person. And something that I worked years to get to was I start my workday around 11 and I wake up at 6 a.m. So my mornings to me are kind of like other people's evenings. My morning is a time that is uninterrupted and it's really just for me. Like I have a whole morning routine that I love to do. Sometimes I even have my sister and my nephews over and like, we'll play during that time versus an evening because my career is so demanding of me right now. And so by the time I'm done working in the evening, that it doesn't even feel like it's my time. I need to like unwind and go to bed. So for me, like the best time is waking up early and I get my energy first because again, it's taking care of yourself. Like you need to come first so you can continue to do everything that you want to do for everyone else in life.
Yeah, 100%. I love that. That's definitely something I continue to work on too, because I agree with you. I'm the most energized in the morning when I can wake up and be on that schedule. If I don't sleep, it gets a little bit hard. But my favorite time is waking up at 6 and going to the gym and starting my work day and emails and stuff at 11. I hate being on my phone right when I wake up. And sometimes when I wake up at 10 or when I wake up at 8, I don't get that much time to myself before I have to start working. Because I miss a lot of things, especially when I work with so many brands out of different time zones. If I'm not up and like emailing, I miss so much of my day and look so unprofessional. So I feel that. But I guess that goes back to what I'm saying is like there's days where I stay on schedule and I wake up at 6 and I go to the gym and I do the thing, but I do grant myself a little bit more grace, knowing that there's days that I don't sleep as well and I do need to sleep in so I can be motivated and rested throughout the day to still get my workday done. And I think that's a big key takeaway for people too, is just like routines are so important. They're so important. And that's how you're going to keep doing like A through Z every single day and getting a little bit ahead. I truthfully think daily habits are so important, but give yourself grace too. When learning new things and going through like a period of self-development or self-care or a business growth period, like it's not going to happen A to B like the next day. Like it's a consistent job and just keep working at it. And I just would, I don't know, I urge people to never think of their sleep in days or their rest days as mistakes or wasted time and to just keep on keeping on.
Yeah, I love that you said that because every season of life looks different and everyone is in a different season. So yeah, you just have to learn like what's best for yourself and then stop the comparison because it doesn't matter if what I'm doing doesn't work for you, then find what works for you. And I'm cheering you on, doing your thing. And I would hope vice versa. So
awesome. Okay. Well, I have one last thing and then we'll kind of end, but it's basically just if you have any key takeaways for anybody listening that maybe is like wanting to start something new or maybe even is wanting to invest in mindset coaching, like what would you say to just kind of motivate them to do what's best for them or to start something new?
Yeah, you have to do what is right for you, and you are the only one that is going to change your own life. Yeah. And you are the best investment that you will ever make. There is nothing else, in my opinion, that compares to investing in yourself. And that goes for lifestyle coaches, if that's right for you, your nutrition, your, like making sure you're drinking healthy water, a filter, for your house, like whatever it is, you have the capabilities, the possibilities, you have everything that it takes to change your life. And if you are unsure how to do that, then that's where a lifestyle and mindset coach comes in. Or if you just have limiting beliefs that you've been told your entire life that, like, oh, you can only make $50,000 a year, or like your dream of a content creator isn't realistic. Those are all limiting beliefs, and I can help you work through them. So if you feel like you're on the hamster wheel and you are like trying and trying and trying, but you just feel like you're not getting off and making traction, and if you're tired of being tired and you're sick of being sick, that's when it is time to hire a lifestyle coach and a mindset coach, something that we will show you the shortcuts. We will help you get to where you want to go. We'll help create something custom specifically to you and your lifestyle that will help give you that action plan and also accountability and some motivation along the way. And I say some motivation because that truly has to come from you, but I'll always be there to hype you up.
I love that. Awesome. Okay. Well, this podcast is going to be live on YouTube and Spotify, and all of Shelbie's information, as well as her business's information, will be in the links. You'll see her freebie in there, and you will also see information about a retreat that it's more of a boot camp. That's what she and her team like to call it. But basically where you can go spend some time with them. It's in Florida this year, right?
Yeah, in Cape Coral, Florida, August 23rd to 26th. It's 2 days, and it's called Lightning Lifestyle Boot Camp. And there we will help you. We'll give you the tools, community, and accountability to really transform your life. And like I said, get off that hamster wheel and really make progress towards your dream lifestyle.
Yes, it's amazing. I looked at it, and the things that they have lined up for people coming is just absolutely insane. It's going to be honestly so much fun, but so much work for people that, need that extra help, but it's going to really change your life. So make sure to check that out. It's going to be on my Instagram, so follow us there. It's going to be on her Instagram, so follow her. But anyways, I had so much fun with you today, Shelbie. I thank you so much for joining. I have been wanting to have you on for so long, so this was fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I loved it.
Yeah. Well, okay. That's it for everybody. Thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe to my channel and follow up with my entrepreneurial series. There's going to be tons of entrepreneurs on there. As you can see, I've had content creators, salon owners, mindset coaches. I'm going to have people in sales, and yeah, it's not going to stop here. So thanks so much, and I'll see you soon.